The Haunting of Hilltop Mansion by Remington Von Blaze. Tom Jenkins had never loved Sally Armont. He married her for one reason, her father's wealth. The old man owned a sprawling mansion atop a hill that overlooked the entire town. And Shelley was set to inherit it all. Tom figured it wouldn't be long before the sickly old man passed away, leaving him a share in the riches. But years passed, and Shelley's father clung stubbornly to life. Tom's resentment grew with each day. He fantasized about pushing Shelley down the stairs, but he never acted on his dark thoughts. Instead, he wore a mask of affection, hiding his true feelings behind a facade of love. The years rolled on, and finally the day came when Shelley's father died. Tom and Shelley moved into the grand mansion, and Tom felt a surge of happiness he hadn't experienced in years. But as time went on, his hatred for Shelley only deepened. He despised everything about her: her voice, her clothes, her TV shows, and most of all, her appearance. Tom considered himself quite the catch, and he was embarrassed to be seen with Shelley, whom he thought was unattractive. Tom's fantasies of Shelley's accidental demise became more frequent. He dreamed of a life where he could enjoy her inheritance alone, or perhaps shared with the pretty cashier from the grocery store, or one of the exotic dancers from the seedy club outside of town. One day, a stray cat appeared on their porch. Shelley, with her kind heart, wanted to feed it. Tom warned her not to, but she ignored him and secretly fed the cat every day. Months later, Tom discovered the cat curled up on Shelley's lap. Furious, he demanded the cat be thrown out, but Shelley refused. Tom seethed in silence, his hatred for both Shelley and the cat growing. The seasons changed, and Tom's anger festered. He tormented the cat whenever Shelley wasn't looking, throwing objects at it, spraying it with water, and even hurling it off the porch. But the cat always returned, finding solace in Shelley's lap. One cold winter night, Tom decided he had had enough. He would finally rid himself of Shelley and the cat. He had asked Shelley to help him adjust a new mirror he had purchased for their upstairs hallway. He said he needed her to look to see if it was straight. She walked up the massive staircase, taking her time as the cat followed her. Tom was surprised in watching this that Shelley had not fallen down these steps a long time ago. How she went this long without tripping over that stupid cat, he had no idea. The cat weaved around her feet with each step. There were 39 steps in all. Tom had once counted them one day when admiring how grand the house was. It seemed to take Shelley forever to reach the top of the steps, and when she had just 3 steps to go at the very top, Tom reached his arm out and said, "Let me help you, my dear," motioning for her to grab his arm. And when she reached out, Tom's face went from a smile to a sharp, menacing grin, and with all his strength he shoved both of her shoulders backwards, and Shelley fell, hitting her head, tumbling the entire way down the hard wooden steps, breaking her neck and her back. The cat hissed at Tom and ran down to Shelley on the floor at the bottom of the steps. Tom began to laugh, and his smile seemed to widen with each step he took down closer to Shelley. Shelley was trying to speak, but only grunts and gurgles came out, and as soon as he had stepped down closer, he could see a pool of blood forming on the floor underneath her mouth. Tom laughed triumphantly. When he got to the bottom, he realized she was dead, and the cat was staring up at him with round, ferocious eyes, hissing and showing its teeth. Tom yelled at the cat and grabbed a nearby vase and threw it at the cat. The cat went running, and Tom chased after the cat, laughing and yelling. But the cat got away and hid in a spot where Tom could not find it. Tom was finally free of Shelley. He called 911 and reported that his wife had fallen down the steps. After a couple of weeks, all of the paperwork was completed, and Tom now owned the mansion on the hill, as well as all of Shelley's money. There was just one thing left to do, and that was to get rid of that filthy stray cat. He stopped down at the local hardware store and picked up some Gotcha brand rodenticide, then went home and broke up a good amount of the poison into a large can of wet cat food. Tom put the poisoned food on the floor on the cat's bowl, and sure enough, the stupid cat came running and gobbled it up. The next morning, the cat was laying dead, right on the chair that Shelley had often sat. He buried the cat in the backyard with a grin on his lips. He was now ready to live the life he had always dreamed, full of riches and away from Shelley. All his wishes had come true. Then one night, while getting ready for bed, he heard a strange sound. He listened closely, and he heard it again. It sounded like Shelley's cat. It was meowing. It sounded like it was coming from just outside his room at the top of the stairs. When he opened up his door, a shock came over him. There, standing at the top of the stairs, was Shelley, standing there with her ugly clothes and that stupid look on her face. He heard a sound, meow, and he looked down, and there, weaving in between her feet, was the stupid cat. With a mixture of fear and anger, he knew right away he had to make sure Shelley was gone. He was going to have to push her again and make sure he finished the job this time. As he approached Shelley, the cat seemed to taunt him with its meows. A chilling wind blew through the mansion. The lights flickered, and the temperature dropped. Tom reached out to shove Shelley with all his strength, but his hand passed through her as if she were made of mist. He stumbled back, horrified, and Shelley turned to him, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. "You thought you could get rid of me so easily," she whispered, her voice echoing through the room. "I've known about your hatred all along, Tom, and now you'll pay for your cruelty." The cat leaped from Shelley's feet, its eyes reflecting the same eerie light emitting from Shelley. It hissed and lunged at Tom and dug all 4 sets of its claws in a death grip around Tom's leg. Tom screamed out in pain and tried to kick the cat off him, but when he did, he lost his balance and Tom fell straight down the steps. He fell hard, breaking his back and his neck, tumbling till he landed on the floor. Still alive, but it would not be for long. Tom began screaming at the top of his lungs, immobilized on the floor. The room filled with a deafening roar as the spirits of Shelley and the cat swirled around him. Tom's screams echoed through the mansion, but no one heard them. The next morning, the townspeople found the mansion eerily quiet. Inside, they discovered Tom's lifeless body, his face twisted in terror. Shelley and the cat were nowhere to be found. To this day, the mansion atop the hill remains abandoned. Locals say on cold winter nights, you can still hear Tom scream and see the ghostly figures of Shelley and her cat, forever haunting the man who tried to betray them.